So this is the first video that I'm recording since I put Giant Steps online. The positive feedback I got, that was pretty incredible, so thank you guys. And I went from 12 subscribers to like 70 something, so I wasn't expecting any of that. And yeah, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to take a completely different path though. We're going from Giant Steps to kind of something on the opposite end of the spectrum. I got a really cool request from a buddy of mine. He wanted to learn a song to play for his son, so that he and his wife, I presume, could sing it together. He said if he learns anything on the guitar, he wants it to be this song so he can do it for his son, and I thought it was a really cool request, and of course I'm excited to help him get there. The one challenge is that he doesn't really play guitar. So it's going to be, I'm going to try to do like a crash course in guitar basics and also teach you how to play a John Lennon song called Beautiful Boy. So let's get started. We're going to start with the very basic. So Guitar 101 crash course. Here we go. The parts of the guitar. So up here you have the headstock. You should note also that the cool thing about YouTube is that if you need to hear something again, you can just pause it and go back. You can watch it at your own pace, so keep that in mind too, because I'm going to try to go really fast here. So there's a lot to cover with if you want to learn a guitar song from YouTube. So, and you don't play guitar. So let's get started. So here's the headstock. Up here you have the tuners. You have the strings, of course, that come down all the way from the headstock to the bridge. Here is the fretboard. Now, this is the nut, and these are the fret markers. These metal things are the fret markers. A common mistake that beginner guitar players make is they try to play, when somebody says play on the first fret, they try to play on the bar, and you actually want to play before the bar. So if I say play on the first fret, you're going to play in the space between the nut and the first fret marker. If I say play on the third fret, you're going to play in the space between the second and the third fret marker. So first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, all the way up. And you'll notice that your guitar probably has some dots. Those indicate, generally, on this guitar in particular, they indicate the fifth fret, seventh fret, ninth fret, and 12th fret. Yours may be a little bit different. You may have third fret, fifth fret, seventh fret, ninth fret, 12th fret. Some guitars don't have any fret markers. That's going to be a challenge on its own, but you can always just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tuning. There's probably a whole plethora of how to tune a guitar videos on YouTube. So if I were you, I'd just grab one of those. I'm sure all of them are just as useful as any other. The names of the strings are going to be important, and the order of the strings. So the first string is the string that's closest to the ground, and it's the highest and thinnest string, and that's called the high E. So you have the high E, the B string is the second string, the G string, the D string, the A string, and the low E. So you have two E's. One's low, and it's the thickest string, and then you have the high E at the top. So again, it's high E, B, G, D, A, E. They're named after what note is played on the string if you don't fret a note. So if you just play it open, that's the high E. This is a B, this is a G, this is a D, this is an A, this is an E. This can vary, but we're going to play in standard tuning, which is what the song is written in and played in. So you won't have to worry about any alternate tunings for now. So just know that this is the most common tuning for guitars by a landslide. E, B, G, D, A, E. Okay, we got that. Let's see what else. Left hand. All right, so we'll start with your left hand. Also, hopefully you're right-handed, because if you're left-handed, I might have to redo this video again. You'll have to let me know. But let's presume that you're like most guitar players and you're right-handed. So let me fret a chord. Here's the way it looks. So your fingernails on your left hand need to be short, because if they're too long, they're going to be scratching against the fretboard. When you play a chord, you want your fingers to be curled. And the way you accomplish that is by pointing your wrist out. You have to point your wrist kind of further than you think. You have to kind of extend it down towards the ground, and you have to curl your fingers. So, and you have to put your thumb, try to keep your thumb not up here, but in the middle of the neck, like the middle of the back of the neck, like that. And your fingers should be curled like, I don't know, this is probably hard to see. My phone's probably going crazy with focus, but this is how curled they should be if you want to play the strings, or if you want to play properly and cleanly. So curl the strings, make sure you play with the the tip of your finger. And that's why it's important to have short nails. Your right hand, I presume you're going to be playing with a pick. I would actually recommend playing this song with a pick if you want to sing it. Most folk singers play with a pick. You can strum without a pick if your fingernails are long enough, but you might as well just play with a pick. They're like 50 cents. Well, it's been a long time since I bought an individual pick, so they may be like $4 by now. But at any rate, that's how I'd recommend doing it, is with a pick. When you pick with your, hopefully, right arm, you want to keep your wrist really, really loose. Don't strum from your elbow. You want to kind of rest your arm on the guitar up here and then strum from your wrist. So most all the movement when you're strumming is all from the wrist. What else? I think that's good for positioning. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Okay, let's get into the song. So you should note that this is like, I learned the song and I transcribed it with you in mind. I know that you want to play this for your son, so I didn't want to get too, I don't want you to learn the guitar exactly, because it doesn't really convey this song well enough just by itself. So this is, just keep in mind, it's not exactly how he played it. It's a interpretation that I made to maximize the song played on one instrument. The form of the song is very simple. There's an intro, there's a verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. So that's the layout of the song. The chorus and the verse are going to be pretty easy, so we'll start there. The first way, so I included I'm not sure if I'm going to put this next to me while I'm talking to you or just upload it. I'll figure that out later. So the first chord is a D. I need to teach you how to read a chord chart. So a chord chart's really easy to read. It's just like looking at the fretboard like this. Usually a section, well, pretty much always a small section at a time. So the first chord is a D, and it's going to look like this. And you'll see up at the across the top of the chord sheet, or the top across the top of the chord diagram, the first chord diagram, you'll see an X on the first string, 2 zeros, and then 2, 3, 2. Now, those are, if it's an X, that means you don't play that string. If it's an O, that means you play them, but you don't fret anything, or you play it open. If you play if there's a 2 up there, you play on the 2nd fret, 3rd fret on the next one, 2nd fret again. So it looks like this. On the bottom, it shows you which fingers to use. And this is something you may have to go back to or write it down, but your index finger is 1. This is 2, 3, and 4. Index finger is 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I say on the chord chart below that it's 1, 3, and then 2 from left to right, that means that first you put your index finger down, then your ring finger, and then your middle finger. Now, because there's an X on the first string, what I would recommend, because you're going to be strumming, is actually just kind of lightly laying your thumb on the string over the top. And I know just a minute ago I said to, give me a second. I know I said that you need to keep your thumb in the middle of the fretboard, but for this particular chord, I'm going to have you put it above it so you can strum away on it and not have to worry about that low E playing open, because it doesn't sound good if you have that low E. It ruins the chord. It's really muddy, and it doesn't sound like a D chord should. So first chord is D major. So that's how you play the D major. The next chord is an E minor, which is a very easy chord. It's just two 2 fretted strings and the rest are all open. You don't have to use your thumb to mute anything. It's just a whole bunch of open strings and 2 fretted notes. You'll notice that on the file that I'm uploading, or what I put next to me here in the screen, I made a chord and lyric chart. And this is a layout of the lyrics along with what chords should be playing while the lyrics are happening, or while what lyrics are happening. So as you can see, the whole first verse is just D major, so you don't ever change the chord from D major in the verse, which is going to be great. It's a great way to start singing and playing guitar. Now you can start by just playing the chord once and then singing, or playing it every once in a while and singing, or you can just upstrokes and downstrokes. Oh, by the way, when you pick, you always want to go upstroke, downstroke. If you ever want to do tremolo picking or play giant steps on guitar, you want to upstroke alternate picking is what it's called, is very important. Okay, so when you strum, you can do like 8th notes, just up and down with your left hand in that kind of a rhythm. That's what I'd probably recommend for this song. So yeah, you can go through the chords. You can match the chords that are on the top of the sheet with the chords that are above the lyric, and you should be able to figure out the fingerings as you go. There's only a few. There's like 8 chords total. So yeah, just go one chord at a time. First learn the D major, then the E minor, and then you'll gradually kind of learn all the chords for the song. Just take it one chord at a time, make sure you have the fingerings correctly, and that you can kind of switch them back and forth at a reasonable pace. One exercise you might want to try for getting better at switching chords is just play the chord, and then play the next chord, and play the next chord. At first you're going to be going like one finger at a time. One finger at a timing is what I just named that. And that's fine. That's how everybody starts out. That's how I started out. And that's fine. But, with practice, you'll get it so you can switch quicker and be able to switch more fingers simultaneously. Okay, so those are the chords. I think that's good enough for the chords. So the next part, I wrote I notated and made what's called tablature for a couple single note, or for 4 single note lines, if you wanted to get a little bit more advanced. If this was too boring for you, or you're a natural Jimi Hendrix, who knows. So the first line, I have to teach you to read tablature also. Okay, tablature is very easy. So you go left to right, top to bottom, just like you're reading a book. The strings are high to low. So the top string is the high E, the next one is the B, the G, the D, the A, the E, the low E. So top to bottom is the highest strings to the lowest, and then the fret marker, the frets are just the number. So on the first fret on the tablature that I wrote out is the 7th fret. So you play 7th fret on the high E, which looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you just play the next note, which is the 5th fret on the same string, and then the 7th fret on the string below that, which is a B. So this is the intro to the song. So you actually don't have to learn this part if you don't want to, because there's no singing in it. If you wanted a challenge, you can definitely learn this. So I'll play how that sounds, and you can just kind of play along with the tablature as you learn. So. And that's the intro. I also made a more advanced intro, or what did I call it? Figure 1, not so basic. That is something if you wanted to get even more advanced, because this is much more like the intro actually sounds. I'm playing 2 or 3 notes at a time sometimes. Now for this one, you want to play, if you're playing so there's a couple moments where you're playing a low string and 2 higher strings. You can either do that with hybrid picking, where you play with your fingers at the same time you're picking a note with your pick, and the note you're picking with the pick is always going to be the lower one. Or if you play with your fingers, you can play it like that, and you just go like that. Man, this is gonna be a challenge if you want to do this one, especially without me being there to kind of walk you through the steps. But okay, so this is what this one sounds like if you wanted to get a little bit more advanced. Or if you play it, with your fingers, it'll sound pretty much identical. Not so basic. Don't start with figure 1, not so basic. Okay, the next one is in the chorus. Right when he says boy, he goes back to D major and he plays a little, well actually John Lennon doesn't, but it's a cool little line. I thought I would teach it to you. It's not too advanced, might just be something that is fun for you to practice. So right when he goes back to D, he plays this. Cool little slidey lick. So you're starting on the 12th fret and you're sliding down to the 7th fret, and then you start on the 10th fret, slide down to the 5th fret. And this riff is difficult because as a beginner guitar player, the aim is very difficult. That's what's difficult in piano for me, is the aim of trying to get the chords correctly and fingerings. So yeah, that one's kind of a challenge too, just because of the speed. If it was slower, it would be a lot easier because you have more time to aim, but it's pretty quick. So you don't really have much time you have to be pretty accurate. The last lick that I put together for you is a fun, what's called arpeggiated riff. And the arpeggiated riff means that you are playing, you're basically playing a chord, but you're playing it one note at a time. So the bridge, if you just wanted to play it as chords, is like this. So you start out with a B minor, then you go B minor / A sharp, then B minor / A, and then you go back to B major. So I thought this part of the song sounded really cool because I wanted to keep the chords simple. I didn't want to have you playing bar chords yet, so I made the chords pretty simple for you. But I also wanted to give you the feel of the bridge, because he has somebody doing the steel drums arpeggiated. I kind of wanted to give you that same kind of a feel for the beginning of the bridge. So the way that goes is like this. And then, of course, you go to the G there after that. But yeah, and if you wanted to play it with your fingers, if you didn't want to pick it, and you're just doing it all with your finger, which is fine. It's the same thing. You want to play with your thumb on the G string, and then your two fingers, 1 and 2. Those actually have different names in the world of guitar, but we're not going to get into that. So that would look like this. But of course, you don't have to play with your fingers. You can play with a pick, but either way, it's going to be it's going to take some time. I know you seem pretty committed, even though you don't have a lot of guitar playing experience. So yeah, just stick with it. Let me know if you have any questions about how to hold the guitar, how to read tablature, how to read chord charts, why I did something the way I did. And yeah, I think it's a really cool thing that you're trying to do for your son, and he's gonna be really excited. that you can play this for him. There's something magical about music that's hard to put into words, and to give that as a gift to your son, I think is great. So I love the idea. Good luck.